Hello everybody, welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I am here to talk about the news that just happened not too long ago, maybe 30 minutes ago, if that. Whenever you get this, it'll either be a day late or a couple hours late. But the announcement that the Static Shock movie is in the works with none other than Michael B. Jordan as the producer. That's all we know, is that Michael B. Jordan and Warner Brothers are in the process of making a Static Shock movie. And if you are a kid, and if you are someone who grew up in the late 2000s, the early 2000s as I did, you would know the Static Shock was a big deal. Like, to me, growing up, it was on, Fox, along with a whole bunch of other things, but it was one of those shows. It was like in that bundle with like the animated, Justice League animated series in Static Shock. Like Static Shock. Sorry, I was playing. Like, pause for a minute. I thought I heard something as I was playing. Static Shock was such a big deal to me because, first of all, there wasn't a lot of black superheroes, and even then there wasn't a lot of. And even then, he was basically the only black superhero with his own show. And then you see this young black superhero growing up in the projects, dealing with things that dealing with gangs and getting caught up in stuff and all these different things, and a lot of his villains are allegories for drugs and how that stuff can get out of hand and gang violence. Like, Static Shock is a really, really good show. Like, it's a damn good animated show. And the character of Static Shock, Virgil, he is an interesting character. He is DC's answer to Spiderman. Really, Static Shock is DC's answer to Spiderman. This young, quippy, fun kid who has to learn his power. When process of learning his powers, he learns more and more about the things he can do. He learns more and more about himself, and and so on and so forth. And eventually, he goes on to become an Avenger one day. You never got to see him. Justice League. He got to become a Leaguer. He got to become a part of the Justice League, but you never got to see him become a part of the Justice League in the show. But you get close. At a certain point, Static had this not reboot, but kind of rebranded, where he got upgraded and he had the black shirt and he had the outfit. Because for real, his original outfit in the original Static Shock, like the first season or two, it was just some clothes he had. He put a lightning bolt on a t-shirt, and he put some goggles. He put a white mask on, had some goggles, and he had this awesome jacket. And when they rebooted and came back, rebranded and came back with the Little Romeo theme music. The Little Romeo theme music. He had the black shirt. Everything was designed. It was a suit. It was an actual costume. Everything's designed as a costume. That one was sweet, man. That one was sweet. I love the design of it. But Static really hasn't gotten a lot of praise. And if I recall from a lot of people, I believe Static Shock was not originally a comic book character. I believe he was an original creation for Fox, an original creation that became so popular that he became a part of the comics. It was a Harley Quinn situation with Static, where he wasn't a character in the books. He was a character created for the to make an animated series out of, and he became so popular they made him a comic book character. But he really hasn't gotten a lot to chew on. You've gotten hints to him in certain things here and there, but I don't think he's ever made an appearance in Injustice. I don't think he's really been mentioned in a lot of that. He's been in some of the other latest animated stuff. He was in Young Justice. Young him was in Young Justice, and clearly he was in the Justice League Unlimited for a little bit. You saw an older version of him, but you really don't get he doesn't get the same attention that Batman Beyond got. Batman Beyond's kind of some side thing too, but Batman Beyond gets a lot more attention than Static Shock does. But I really think it's underrated, especially in this climate right now. DC knows what they're doing, and Warner Brothers and DC knows what they're doing. They know that right now Black Lives Matter and more diversity, more different people of different cultures and different backgrounds and different skin tone getting more stuff, that if now is the time to make a Static Shock show. It's something that should have been done a long time ago, though, in my opinion. And it would have been done so easily, because Static's powers are, while they're a little over the top, it's just lightning. It's just electrical. It's not even electrical. It's just he can control electromagnetic, the entire, he can control, technically it's electricity, but he can control more than that. He can control the entire electro magnetic, he could control all that shit. He can like multiple layers of that shit. And in fact, eventually, depending on which books you're reading, he becomes mentored by Black Lightning. So a lot of people thought he was going to show up. He's going to show up in the Black Lightning show, but clearly he didn't make that. Clearly, I don't think he ever made that appearance. I don't watch Black Lightning, but I'm going to just go on a limb and say no one named Virgil who showed up. No one named Virgil with who can surf goddamn trash cans with his electrical powers showed up, and even that got upgraded in the rebrand where eventually he doesn't need, because for the longest time like he is really a friendly neighborhood superhero, because like literally to the point where he uses trash can lids to glide on, like he like magnetize the trash can lids, can use it to fly on to like surf the trash can lids, and then eventually he just got these discs, and then like he got these awesome discs that he can just just take out at any moment and just whoop and fly off. But like I said, this character has always been fun. He's always been great to me. It's about damn time that I hope this happens. And for the first time in a long time, I am genuinely off the cuff, non baby steps, excited about a DC project. I am excited about Static Shock. Like I said, it's a big deal. It should have been done a long time ago. He is DC's response to Spider-Man. Though he might never get the same shine as Spider-Man, he is DC's response to Spider-Man. Though I am a bit worried that Marvel might have beat them to the punch here too, because Miles Morales' stock has been rising and rising, and the young African-American hero dealing with young African-American hero things and having to deal with superpowers at the same time has kind of been taken up by Miles, though it was done first by Static. So I might be a bit worried that it might be like by the time Static Shock comes out, we might have already had a Miles Morales. We'd have already had it Into the Spider-Verse 2. So it might, so they would really have to get really into the streets of it, into like the dealing with the stuff that's happening in the projects and dealing with the stuff that happens day to day in Black communities. Like they would really have to get into that and make that a part of the character to differentiate it from Miles Morales' problems and what Miles Morales deals with. Because honestly, when I think about Static Shock, it looks a lot like a Miles Morales movie. It looks a lot like the trailers for the new Spider-Man movie with Miles Morales in it. It looks a lot like the trailers for Into the Spider-Verse with Miles Morales in it. Like when I think of Static Shock, it's just so similar to Miles that it's just like, man, like I hope they can find some things to differentiate themselves in terms of tone, not in terms of the actual character, nothing like that. Now, understand me, I hope people read this right correctly. Sometimes I see some people in the comments just kind of take a tidbit of what I say and just take that. I'm not saying that Miles and Virgil are the same character. I'm not saying that Static Shock and, Ultimate Spider-Man Miles Morales is the same character or have this exact same beats in their stories, but they represent a lot of the same things, which is a young African-American, in Miles' case, African and Latino, African-American boy who grows up on the streets, not the streets, but, grows up in the neighborhoods, in the rough environment, gets superpowers, and has to deal with, and not only has to deal with his superpowers and superhero stuff, but deal with the fact that of the neighborhood and the area and all these other things, and this young Black person come into power, and like they have a lot of similarities in that way, and I'm just hoping that doesn't, that they can find another angle to take with it, and like I said, maybe perhaps they have to lean a little bit more into the, growing up in the rough environment in the projects and things of that nature. Maybe they have to lean more into that to, differentiate it. Whatever they got to do, I'm excited for this. Michael B. Jordan is a fantastic actor. Killmonger himself. Creed. I mean, he's a great actor. I mean, he just really is. Fruitvale Station. Michael B. Jordan's always been a great actor, and I don't know what his producing skills are, but we'll see. We'll see. First, we have to see who's going to be directing it, and the writing, and of course who's going to play Virgil. Which who's going to play Virgil is less of a big deal, because I would love a no name to come in and play him, so that someone who can become that's this character. You don't have to think about it twice. That'd be great. So, I mean, we'll just have to see. But I'm excited about this. Static Shock coming to us. Michael B. Jordan producing. What do you guys think? Are you excited about this? Comment below. Let me know. And please remember to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next one.